After receiving even more comments with shortcut suggestions and researching some by myself, I've decided to make a part 3. In this part, the average difficulty of the shortcuts is a good bit higher than the previous ones, which is also reflected in the time it took me to hit some of them. But don't worry, I've also found some easier ones everyone can and should incorporate in their driving. So without any further ado, here are the shortcuts. For our first shortcut, we're starting with quite easy one. Not as I promised, one of the harder ones, but this will come later for sure. This one, yeah, quite easy. Usually if you have something in that little warehouse right there, you can just go here and then jump here. Quite low risk. If you just slow down a bit, you won't crash on the dirt. Maybe hit a car here, but then even then, you save enough time with the alternative routes, because these other routes are just slower. Like this route is taking the shortcut we saw in the last video right here. Which in the end is about 3 or 4 seconds slower. Like on the time you will see like around 3 seconds, but with the other method, so the first clip I showed, you actually have more momentum, so in the end you save more time. Also, if you want to go to the left right there, like let's go to, you want to go to downtown more, then you save even more time, but it's just assuming this route. Yeah, and for this next one is the totally non-shortcut route. So you're not taking this shortcut, you're taking, what the GPS kind of says. You just go around here. It's quite a long way around. It doesn't, make that much of a difference like with the shortcut I showed last time, which is the dirt jump. But it still makes quite a big difference. It's 8 seconds slower than the shortcut route and 4 seconds slower than the, semi-shortcut route. But yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's so low risk. There's not really a reason not to do it. Even if you crash out slightly, you save a lot of time, especially compared to the normal route. For our second shortcut, we have a really exciting one, which was recommended by Lucas. It's basically taking this jump here. I found it to be quite difficult. I tried it a lot, but I found if you hit it left of that palm tree, you should usually be kinda good. Although you will flip over sometimes. But yeah, if you do it, it actually saves you quite a lot of time. Well, not as much as I would expect, but to be honest, the drive around is not that far, and also you retain a lot of speed here. But in the end, you save about 4 or 5 seconds. And if it's worth it, I don't think so. I think it's too inconsistent. Maybe if you're really good, then you could make it worth it. But for like the average player, I wouldn't per se recommend it. So yeah, 4 seconds time save and medium/high risk. So do it at your own risk. For next one, we have one that's a lot more realistic, also a lot shorter. You just simply cross to this little park here. It's quite easy. I slowed down a little bit there. You can probably do it a little bit faster. But yeah, you see, you arrive here like 10, 11, 12 seconds, something like that. And the alternative route is obviously just following the route here. So that's kind of going here, and then I even took a little shortcut there, more retain a lot of momentum. And in this variation, it saves about a second. I think if you take a little bit more momentum, maybe it's a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds. But yeah, it's about a second. It's very low risk. No reason not to do it. So yeah, just go for it. For our fourth one, we have one which actually saves a lot of time. So you just go straight here. If you cast fast enough, you kind of fly over. It's quite difficult to land. This was after a lot of attempts. Usually you kind of land on that roof, or you land into the wall and flip over a little bit. But even if that happens, you save so much time, it's still worth it. If you can do it, if it's not working, you will just hit the wall and kind of get redirected here anyways. And as you can see, the normal route has a lot of traffic. I even had to take this little jump here. It doesn't really add much to the time, but traffic, right? But yeah, in the end, it saves 15 seconds. It's a medium risk, right? Because things can go wrong, but if your car is capable enough, it's relatively easy, and even if it goes wrong, you still save like 5 seconds or whatever. So yeah, this one is definitely a go-to, and it's really cool as well. So do it. For our next one, we have a really easy one recommended by PC16. It's basically just using this alleyway towards Franklin's, beginning house, or old house, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure most people have used it before. It's really easy. You get here like around 10 seconds. Really nicely, very clean. No traffic really. It's amazing. The alternative, or like the proper route, is obviously going around. So you have to go here, maybe there's even traffic, really annoying. You have to go here, maybe you run into a tram, etc. You have to go left again, a lot of furniture to hit. but then arrive here at like 15 seconds. So in the end, you save 5 seconds, and it's really low risk. So there's really no reason not to do it. So yeah, do it. This shortcut I've used a lot. It's basically going through the canal towards the LS Customs right here. And it's pretty nice. You just jump here. Yeah, obviously you have this risk. So this clip is not the shortcut clip. This is like just a cool clip I hit while trying it. This in the end didn't save time. It was like 2 seconds slower than the intended shortcut. So this is the intended shortcut where I just hit it cleanly. Also, like depending on what car you use, it's more difficult or easier. So for example, Paragon was relatively difficult sometimes. And for example, cars with high suspension, like off-road vehicles, will have a really, really easy time. As you can see, I hit it in 14 seconds there. And yeah, the alternative route, the real route, is just going on the bridge right here and then turning, right in a second. And that's about 4 seconds slower. And yeah, the thing is with this shortcut, even if you crash and mess it up, you're gonna arrive at about the same time, and your car is damaged, most of the time anyways, because you're going to the LS Customs, right? So that's why I did low risk, because even if you crash, you're gonna repair your cars anyways. So definitely do it, it's fun as well. We've all seen this one used and probably use it as well, going on this lower ramp to go on the highway. But does it actually save time? Because you're on the air a lot, so you lose a lot of momentum. And the alternative route, if you do your corner work properly, you save all your momentum basically, as you can see in a second. So actually this shortcut, I think, loses you about 3 seconds. So it's definitely not worth it. See, if you just go there, it's not even that difficult. This isn't even like the most best handling car or whatever. So even with like a normal car, you could easily handle that. So yeah, it's a low risk, but don't do it. It's still time loss anyways, unless you want to. I can't stop you. At this point in the video, there is a series of canal ones. So this LS River, whatever it is, a canal, let's say. So this first one is going up here and landing on the bridge. I classified this as a medium risk because yes, you can flip over, and also it happens that you fall over the edge on the other side, but then you're just on a normal route, and yes, you might end up losing a second or two, but it's not high risk, I would say, because there's not really a lot of risk of falling somewhere or like exploding or like falling in the water or whatever. But yeah, the normal route, you go around here, obviously have to make a turn, slow down a bit more, and in the end it's like 4 seconds. Obviously you can land the jump cleaner, but you can also land it way worse, so that's why I decided on 4 seconds. But yeah, it's worth it if you get consistent with it. Some other cars might be easier as well. So yeah, this one you could consider also just as a good flex on your friends. For a second LS River one, we have a nice little shortcut, which isn't really a shortcut, maybe a little bit. Basically take this little jump here, it's really nice, looks really cool. But oftentimes if you go too fast, you hit the little ceiling basically, which makes you flip, and then it's not a time save anymore, because the time save on here is actually really, really small. In the end I put like a second, but realistically I think it was like 0.5 seconds. But yeah, obviously there were like slight imperfections here. For example, the slide could be a little bit faster, but then again, if I didn't hit the seating, would be a little bit faster as well. But yeah, it's very similar in time. So is it worth doing it? Probably not. The risk is probably higher. Also, you damage your car quite a lot. So yeah, do this at your own risk. It's more of like a, hey guys, look what I can do kind of flex mode if you want to escape from people. That is quite useful. Yeah, if you want to escape from people, this is quite easy to do, and if they see it too late or don't know how to do it, it's actually quite useful. Yeah. Our next LS River one is quite cool as well. I mean, all of these are quite cool. They're quite well, not super difficult. This one is also like medium risk. You can hit like the train here a little bit, which messes you up, or you can flip over. That also messes you up a little bit. But in the end, it's a decent time save. Saves you about 4 seconds compared to like a normal route here. So normal route would be going into this little underpass right here. It's quite straightforward. You go like this and you go right. But yeah, it loses you about 3-4 seconds depending on how you take that corner, etc. So is this worth it? Yeah, kinda. If you get good enough at it, it's probably worth the risk, I think. So yeah, we'll give it a try, practice, I don't know. If not, just take the normal route, it's only 4 seconds. Well, next one I'm still counting towards this little segment of Alice River ones, because you're not in the Alice River, but you kinda jump over the Alice River. By hitting this little obstacle right here, you kinda jump over it and then onto this bridge, circumnavigating quite a lot of road. But the thing about it is, hitting a little thing is really inconsistent, really difficult. I had a lot of tries on this. Also my car, you can see here it's repaired because it literally started smoking because it kept hitting the little obstacle head on, and it just stops you 100% if you don't hit it right. So you really have to hit it at a very precise angle. You have to push there as well. So it's really like, I put medium high risk because you don't have the risk of falling in water and stuff. Also, if you hit it, your time save is not gonna be there anyways, but you're not gonna lose too much time, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, 4 seconds is not really worth it. Also, I was really lucky how I hit it there. If you hit it differently, you flip over a lot of time, so then the time save would probably be less. For our last Alice River one, we have one which saves quite a lot of time. In the end, about 11 seconds. Also, I think you can probably do it faster, so then saves even more time. This actually took quite a lot of attempts, because you have that furniture there, you have the risk of running into traffic, you can hit the ceiling there a little bit. So this one was one of the better attempts after like quite a lot of attempts, and I was kind of happy that I jumped onto the other side. But I think if you landed better, you can probably save a little bit more time. Like I said, in this case it was 11 seconds compared to the normal route, but I think you can probably up that to like 13, 14 seconds if you do it really well. But yeah, the normal route is just quite a long way around. So as you see, I can kind of have to go here, have to slow down here, go up there, make a lot of turns, slow down a lot. Here as well, I have to watch out for traffic. Obviously in the other one you also have to watch out for traffic because you have to you jump into oncoming traffic basically. Here I use a little trick, you go left here. You could have also gone a little bit further, I guess, but here you go immediately on the highway, you don't have to worry about too much extra traffic, especially from the intersection above. And yeah, you see about 11 seconds in this case. So is it worth it? Probably yeah, because like even the attempts I kind of failed, I usually ended up on the highway. And within 11 seconds you can recover quite a lot. So you will probably still end up with a time save in the end. So I would recommend this one actually. This next one is a little update to a previous shortcut I did. Someone commented I couldn't find the comment just now, but if you remember, please comment again. But anyways, previous time I suggested going to the right to the grab there, like someone recommended that, so I tried that, which ended up being a time save of about 1 second, and for like the alternative route just going up there, like right way in traffic. But someone said, well, if you just go like this route you're just seeing right now, it's actually way faster. And yeah, obviously this, you go in between, you just have the risk of oncoming traffic, but you save about 3 seconds, which is quite good. I mean, your risk is not that much higher than the other ones, and yeah, I would definitely recommend doing this. This next one is also a little update on the one from the previous video. So normally you would go left there and jump over the roads in that little gap to the right here, which is a time save and also saves more time than this, but it's way more difficult. So this one is way easier to go here, and it's right in between the normal route and the actual big shortcut by around 5 seconds each. So it's 5 seconds slower than the shortcut and 5 seconds faster than the normal route. So yeah, if you don't really want to take the shortcut because it doesn't work too often, then this is a nice alternative, which is right in between. For our last two shortcuts, we're heading into Sandy Shores, with the first one being this one, across the Zancudo River right here towards the biker camp. It's quite a nice one. It's high risk though. I did medium high risk because the jump itself is not that difficult, but if you mess it up you land in water, which kinda is like high risk because then you just lose like a lot of time, right? And also, talking about time saves, if you take the normal route, which is like normal lines, it's not even ideal line, you save about 1 second. So is it worth it? No, It's not. Is it fun? Yeah, sure, but should you do it? Probably not. The last shortcut was actually recommended by 2 people, so shout out to Cafe and Phil. And the shortcut essentially is just going to Fort Zancudo. So instead of just following Route 68 to end and then going onto the highway, you actually just cut through Fort Zancudo. As you saw in the comments before, they actually said like, oh, if you want to take it, you should get a hanger. And I was like, I'm just going to buy a hanger. And I was like, are there really gates that open? No, they're not. You can just blast through. And you see like, I'm fine. You know, maybe I got lucky with tank spawns, but yeah, you end up fine. And if you just call Lester here, it's a what, $800 shortcut because you have to pay for the stars. But yeah, it was quite fine. And like you're here at like 40 seconds, 42, you know, quite early. And as you will see in a normal route, which doesn't give you stars, but like I said, you can just call Lester, use the tunnel. You can cobstone blind eye, although that is a little bit more expensive. But yeah, just going the normal route, you're here, you deal with a lot more traffic, although if you deal with tanks, that's probably less traffic, but like more dangerous traffic. But yeah, anyways, you just go here, and at this point you would already be like in the middle of Fort Zancudo, but you're just entering the highway here. The one big advantage of this route actually is that you can still hit those yellow things. You see me, I'm like, oh no, I have to record a video, I have to be nice, but I was like, I'm not a psychopath, I'm still gonna hit the yellow things, right? But you see, like, at this time it would have already been back there, like the 40 seconds, low 40s. But as you see, we're still going. In the end, this will go up to like a minute. So in the end, the time save is about, I think, 20 seconds. As you can see here, I'm like 20-ish seconds. For something which is relatively low risk, especially if you have a hanger, then it's like extremely low risk. So this one I would definitely recommend. Even if you don't have a hanger, it's not that wild. It might be medium risk at that point, but I would definitely recommend it still. But this was the last shortcut for this part 3. If you have any more suggestions, which I'm sure at this point you guys will do, I already thought like after part 1 I used most of the shortcuts, but you guys kept surprising me, and even I still kept on finding things. Please leave a comment below. Also, if you have any suggestions for other things, like kinda in this niche, please suggest them, like maybe some testing I could do. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And until part 4, or maybe some other series,